I mean, as much as it's better than being there if you have really great technology, there's nothing really better than being with other people to share an experience. So we're moving, and you know, there's a lot of the world still under a lot of pressure around COVID, but we're now thinking about what does the hybrid workplace of the future look like. I kind of there's so many different normals. I'm now onto the future normal, whatever's next. You know, where we are now is a very democratized view of meetings, where actually people are all on one level because most people are separate. And I think you touched on it, Ilya, earlier, which is we all remember as soon as you get a group of people in one place and external participants, that equality, that democratization goes out the window, because the people that are together are the ones that win. You've touched on some of it. I mean, one of the things I would like to look at is I've seen a lot of information going out this week on a projected type environment with large walls. I thought we'd gone away from that many years ago, you know, projectors, but yeah, that large pane of glass, you know, I'd love to hear from both of you how you feel from a Teams perspective that's going to work, and how that fits into your technology roadmap, Henry.
Well, we've been talking about kind of the vision of the future, and I think Microsoft and Ilya and team did a really great job visualizing and capturing, I think, a lot of the key pain points. And I think a lot of it spoke to breaking down the barriers and giving the hybrid or the remote participants, whether they're at home or on the beach, giving them a level playing field. And so what you're seeing there is multiple cameras with AI capturing everything so that foreign participants feel like they're part of the conversation. I think that's completely in line with everything we're doing. I would say, while it was a little premature to show Scribe in that video, I would say definitely, you know, products like that would coexist in that sort of environments where the people in the room, that when they start collaborating with each other, because there's something special about being in the room at the same time, having all that available to foreign participants. So I think from an alignment perspective, you're going to see a lot more Logitech products in those type of videos, because philosophically we're completely aligned on what we need to focus on and where the improvements can be, definitely.
And Ilya, do you think that kind of resonates with where you see it going?
Oh, for sure. I think it's a very broad area. So we are working with companies on everything from furniture to physical layout to the display technologies. You know, some of the things you saw us kind of highlight in that room is a very basic change of people in the room facing each other to people in the room facing the remote participants. I'm not trying to claim that's unique in the industry. That's been around before. It just used to be the domain of multi-$100,000 rooms, and now we think that's something that could be set up as, you know, any Teams room. So the physical configuration, so the people in the room feel equal to people remotely and vice versa, showing a lot more information. So this we do think is somewhat unique in the telepresence world. No matter how many screens you had, it was screen share and video. And I think one of the things we've seen through the pandemic is, boy, chat is not actually disruptive. It's really useful. Chat, you know, in meetings for us has become as rich a discussion medium as the verbal communication. So what do you do when you're in a room? Is everyone expected to keep a laptop lid open and look here and look at the screen? We think we should put up the chat stream on the front of room display if you give us that surface area. You can still use your Teams mobile companion to participate in the chat, but just having everyone see it makes that more equal. Having everyone see the transcript of who said what. Having potentially the agenda so that we don't go wandering off talking about hockey teams and soccer teams and whatever interests us. Having automatically captured action items with people's names assigned to them throughout the meeting, so you don't have someone, you know, writing on a parking lot and have the meeting do that themselves. So we think there's so much more richness now around these digital meetings that the more surface area we have, the more of that we can put up. And even though it looked like we might have been over fixated on projectors, you know, that's not, for us, is just, what are ways to get more surface area? Some of these projectors are very cool in terms of, by the way, not having borders. So, you know, having the new pixel matching technology, so it's borderless. But whatever technology is used, I do think the future is a lot more digital space in these rooms.
And it's interesting because this whole people process space technology and data, which has been added to the end, it's finally coming together. We haven't talked about digital workflow, and I wanted to touch on that because, in the hybrid world, that sitting in a Teams environment or whatever the platform environment and being able to access it everywhere from the home to the coffee shop to the huddle space to the meeting space. How do you see your products? Particularly Henry. How do you? I can see devices, so I can see your laptop device, your Surface Go, Surface Pro, whatever sitting in that. You kind of take that with you. How do you see Logitech playing in that digital workflow field?
It's interesting. You referenced something Scott said earlier, which is the better than being there experience. The other thing Scott often says is we're not in just the video conferencing business, we're in the meetings business. And so we definitely think of ourselves as Logitech as enabling productivity and collaboration everywhere you are. And I know we're known for our mice and keyboards, but it even starts at that level of being able to be part of any conversation and being part of that workflow, all the way down to the mouse and the keyboard, all the way up to being in the boardroom, like what Ilya showed in his vision of the future. So what you'll see from us throughout this year is we already have a huge focus on enabling you to work wherever you are, whether you're at home, in a classroom, or at a Starbucks. You will see more and more innovation from Logitech on that side in collaboration with Ilya. So we think we're pretty well positioned to be part of that conversation at every point of where people want to work.
It's funny, isn't it? The one thing you guys need to solve, which is the one problem in this hybrid workplace and digital workflow, is the thing that we always look for when we go into a Starbucks is where's the power outlet? That's become, it used to be where's the Wi-Fi signal, and now the only thing that seems to be the challenge is not how you connect and how you communicate and how you collaborate, is how you just keep the power on. So that's the final piece. This has been a fascinating conversation. There's, I suppose, a couple of quick things. Obviously, another product that sits in the Logitech Sync stable. We've got managed meeting rooms, and we've got Teams Room Premium. Quickly, how do you guys see that managing the meeting space moving forward?
Well, I think for us, it's about, again, providing both complete solutions for customers and providing some choice. We believe that for customers who get Teams devices and want to manage them themselves, everything they need should be in Microsoft Teams, the Teams Admin Center. Not saying that's there today. We are continuing to build out on that. We have a very exciting roadmap. As part of that, we integrate with partners. So we will be bringing capability to Teams Admin Center to manage peripherals from a firmware and updating perspective, and that's going to integrate with the sync service from Logitech as well as others. So we absolutely are committed to TAC as a complete service. We also think there's going to be customers who, for various reasons, will say, we would love to have someone else manage these on our behalf. When it comes to room systems, whether it's the footprint they have or the partners they're already engaged. And so there will be two ways to do that. If they have a partner already who they work with everywhere and just sort of want to delegate to them, we'll have a work on behalf capability coming to the Teams Admin Center, and they could just delegate that. And then we have a set of partners who are building on the managed service that's part of Rooms Premium. And so there we bring our intelligence that we get from managing across companies, across tenants, all those signals in a managed service. A good analogy is kind of what we get with Microsoft Defender, where we have that on so many endpoints and we get signals about threats that I think customers may not even get themselves initially. So we get those signals about room health, room stability, various optimization conditions. We make that available through the managed service. We automate a lot of the implementation of those, and then our partners build on top of that for kind of the last mile. So all valid choices, and we make all of those available to our customers.
And what I love about this, again, it's this early days of managing products, part of the modern management cycle as well, with autopilot and actually enabling people to scale solutions quickly, particularly in this hybrid world where we have to go from maybe 10% coverage to 100% coverage, and how do you do that effectively? So we talked about, obviously a lot more products going and sitting under the umbrella of Logitech Sync now. How's that moving forward for you, and what's your vision of where that sits, Henry?
It's going quite well, and you said it yourself. I think one of the aspects to the new norm, the new hybrid world, is video everywhere. Even though we talked a lot, if you actually look at the penetration, we have a lot more work to do as an industry, and we're working hard at it. And part of the challenge of that is, as you said, is manageability. So for us, we offer Sync. Sync is a very simple cloud-based device management platform, but we don't really think of it as just a UI, like an interface where you go manage things. To us, it is a platform and how we give choice into managing our devices. So we're actively working on various ways to kind of expand it. So we've announced several partnerships in the past. We are actively working on integrating our devices to be managed through Teams Admin Center, like the Teams on Android devices, Rally Bar and Rally Bar Mini will be managed entirely through Teams Admin Center. And we won't stop there, because our customers are asking us first to do more, make things simpler, make things easier. Go into one portal and just hit an update button and everything gets updated magically. That's what we're trying to do. So to us, Sync is it's a tool, but it's also an open platform, really about delivering choice to support our customers' need for scalability and putting video everywhere.
Excellent. I think my biggest takeaway for this last 20 minutes or so is it's just phenomenal, not only how far you guys have driven this marketplace, and it is fundamental, the change that we've seen in the last 5 years. And I know we've talked about this before, but I don't think the pandemic could have been coped with without the work that people like you have done. It's having the platform to communicate on and the products to access that platform. 10 years ago, I can't imagine what the last year and a half would have been like. But what's fundamentally exciting is where it's going. This isn't going to slow down, and you're describing between your future of platform and product that's actually going to continue to develop, and it seems to me that there's gaining more momentum. I think COVID's just given it a big shove, both in terms of user adoption and in terms of the requirement for Ilya, for you to develop, and for Henry, for you to keep up with that development cycle. So it's exciting times. I mean, when this is moving so quickly, I'll just last question to both of you: what keeps you up at night? What really do you worry about?
There's a lot we can get wrong. In terms of what I worry about, it really is that basic of, can we move quickly enough and do the right things to enable that hybrid world? So we're living through a giant social experiment. I don't think anyone really knows what is going to happen, all the way from macroeconomics to how world health is going to evolve to how work is going to evolve. And there's some very exciting trends. So personally, I'm excited about the opportunity to bring more people into the workforce, regardless of where they live. The fact that I'm now hiring folks who are living in different locations, and I've got some confidence that they'll be able to collaborate effectively. I'm really excited about that. But what I worry about is that collaboration is dependent on, at least for our customers, on what we do and what we do jointly with Henry. As I said kind of early on, boy, I worry if people go in the meeting rooms and they don't feel like they're fully participating well, they're going to turn around and walk back, and we're going to be in an all remote world even when offices are open, and that's not great. So can we deliver quickly enough to really enable the vision? That's what keeps me up at night.
I love that point, actually. If you do really, really well, is that really, really good? If we are all saying we collaborate so well with that meeting, are we going to end up in this weird dystopian world where we never meet, which would be a worry. Henry?
I'll maybe give you two quick answers. I would say when COVID first hit and we started seeing the reports and things started closing down, we started getting a lot of inbound pictures of our products being utilized in some very, very important situations. People talking to loved ones, governments working through this, and I think it was a very touching moment where a lot of us felt playing a very, very small role in this problem, but recognizing that our products are now something that are almost a utility in some ways, right? Like before it was this video thing, now it's like this is actually what things live on. So to us, this is a huge responsibility. We take it very, very seriously. The second part I think we have to think about is, okay, so we're going to get video everywhere, and we're going to make the hybrid employees experience better and more equitable. What happens next? And I think the thing we need to think about is how we manage people's work-life balance in this new hybrid world. Is you get the ability to hire the best people anywhere in the world, and you get the best minds to solve really complex problems. Challenge you'll run into is you have a bunch of people in different time zones, and how do you allow them to all work together without burning themselves out? We're seeing this already where you're up in the morning talking to Europe, you're working with the US team during the day, and you're up with Asia Pacific at night. And what we have to do as an industry is focus on creating asynchronous meeting experiences. And I think Ilya touched on a lot of those things, which is like action items, but you can't be in every meeting everywhere, right? But you want to hire those people and give them flexibility in where they want to be. So we have to build tools that will allow folks that can maybe not be on that call to feel like they were part of the conversation and not have to rewatch the whole thing. So action items, whiteboard content, kind of the inflection points, decision points, who was part and what was said and who agreed to what. I think we have to really focus in on that. Once we get the hybrid kind of key hybrid enablers in place, we have to think about what people's work-life balance is like and how do the teams actually collaborate in this new world.
That's a really good point. I mean, I think the record button, I think, is one of the most amazing things. I mean, actually be able to record meetings. So that stopped me having to attend meetings out of weird time zones than I would have done before. And I do watch the recordings, and that's a start point. I mean, the other one is, I suppose, Ilya, would be Viva, and somebody like Microsoft. I mean, might be worth quickly, because a lot of people might not know Viva and how that could impact on what Henry was just saying.
Viva is an exciting addition based on Teams, where we can help you with insights about what your employees do, what is being discussed, and then what is of interest to you. So I will get an email, for example, that says, Logitech, we think Logitech is a video communications company. Is that true? Yes. Are these projects you're doing with Logitech? Yes. And then based on that, Viva learns and actually flags content that I should pay attention to, without me having, FOMO about key things at Logitech that I maybe missed. So I also get a report that says, boy, Ilya, for the last 12 hours, you've answered at least one email per minute or something, and you should probably schedule some time where you're off email. So we try to provide insight about how we work, and as part of that, really focus on helping with habits like taking breaks, like getting up, like scheduling time in between meetings that we know reduce fatigue.
Yeah, my trick is I've got to walk the dog. I do schedule walking the dog every day for 45 minutes, because that dog does not let me get away without walking them. So I love the conversation. We could be here for another hour. Thank you for your time, but also, thank you for what you're both doing to make the world a better place. Now, that sounds really big, but I think, Henry, you were suitably demure about this, but the way the products have been used and the way the product's been used has just made it so much easier for everybody in the last year and a half. And I'm really excited to see where we go from here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Jon.
you both, and thank you for the partnership.